The Cleveland Browns have announced that Shedeur Sanders will start in their first preseason game of the 2025 season. We're going to talk about this big opportunity that's coming for Shedeur Sanders. And then my man's Keenan Allen, wide receiver who was a Los Angeles Chargers, then spent some time with the Chicago Bears. He is now returning. We got a lot to talk about on today's episode, but obviously you already know. You gotta hear the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby. So if you're tuned in, man, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But it was just recently announced that Shedeur Sanders will start in the Cleveland Browns' first preseason game. And man, is it a big opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, hey, he going up against the Carolina Panthers team that's trying to, turn things around down there in North Carolina. They trying to make some things happen. It is just a preseason, but it is a huge opportunity for Shedeur Sanders. Up until this point, though, Shedeur Sanders has only ran 4 plays with the first team. So on that game that is going to take place, man, it's going to be interesting to see what Shedeur Sanders does and how he actually looks out there. There's been a lot of people that's been out there making a case for Shedeur Sanders, even guys at ESPN Cleveland constantly bringing up his stats during training camp and how he's been efficient, how he's getting, completions, how he's making those completions, how he's not committing turnovers on the football field. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Shedeur Sanders does with this Cleveland Browns team. It's going to be interesting to see, and I'm all for it. And it is a huge opportunity for Shedeur Sanders, man. I'm excited to see him. I want to see what he's able to do. I think that the Cleveland Browns, they've been kind of mishandling this whole quarterback situation. And at least in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? I understand you want to go out there and you have Joe Flacco, but you drafted 2 quarterbacks in this draft for a reason. So allow these 2 young guys to show what they're made of. I'm not talking about Kenny Pickett. I know what Kenny Pickett is. Let's see if one of these 2 young quarterbacks that you selected in this year's draft can help carry this thing forward for years and years to come, because you already dropped the ball when it came to Baker Mayfield. But outside of Shedeur Sanders having limited reps with the first team, we also heard from reporters like Albert Breer, who covers the NFL extensively, come out and state that Shedeur Sanders has been behind in the playbook. So I'm interested to see if that's a thing that was taking place and has he caught up, or hey, does the kid really, really deserve a shot? I think it's a big opportunity simply because it may not come down to Shedeur Sanders winning the job in just one preseason game. I don't think that's the opportunity that we should be focusing on when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. What we should be focusing on is how can he move up the depth chart. Teams have been releasing their unofficial depth charts, and to be honest with you, they mean absolutely nothing at this current time. But if there is any doubt in the minds of Shedeur Sanders coaches that Dylan Gabriel is ahead of him, that Kenny Pickett is ahead of him, this game coming up in the first preseason game versus the Panthers will be a huge opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to start to get some checks in those boxes to where they like, okay, he can operate the offense. Okay, he can be efficient. Okay, he can make the throws. Okay, he can do X, Y, and Z. So I'm interested to see what Shedeur Sanders is going to be able to do. And look, right now with the four snaps that he's only taken with the first team that is being reported, some will say it's unfair. But hey, the reality is, and I don't really want to sound harsh, but the reality is no one really cares. No one's going to come out there and say much about this situation. It's the life of the NFL. And Shedeur Sanders, this is your opportunity to start moving in the right direction with your coaching staff. I believe he has been handling himself well in front of the microphones. From what we've seen and all the stats that's been coming out of training camp, those have been handled well. He's moving in the right direction. But how you can leapfrog some of these quarterbacks, it starts with this preseason game one. Make sure your guys are lined up. Make sure your cadence good. Make sure that you don't make any costly mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, you have to bounce back immediately. It's just the way that it is. I'm not going down the route of saying it's an unfair shot. It's the life of the NFL. A lot of players go through different trials and tribulations during their career in the NFL, and Shedeur Sanders is not going to be excluded from that. That's just the facts. No one's going to feel sorry for him, but it is a major, major opportunity for him to prove himself, to show what he's made of, to put good film out there. How's your footwork look? Are you going through your progressions? Are you accurate? Are you going to where the play is telling you to go? And if it's not available, how do you improvise? What does your athleticism look like? It's going to be a lot of things to watch for in Shedeur Sanders' first preseason game. Again, it is not the end all be all. It does not mean Shedeur Sanders will eventually become the starter just off one preseason performance, but this is simply a way to have building blocks start to stack up for him to eventually put himself on the map. But it's not up to me. It is absolutely up to him. You can call it unfair. It's the life of the NFL. So we'll see what happens. And I'm interested to see and cover it as we continue on and get ready for the start of the NFL season. Now, before we get up out of here, and y'all let me know how y'all feeling about the Shedeur Sanders stuff. But before we get up out of here, we got to talk about my man's Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, who was a free agent, spent some time with the Chicago Bears last year. He is now returning home. And that home is Los Angeles with the Chargers on a 1-year, $8 million deal. You're going to add him to guys like Alad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, and a very, very good offensive line and quarterback in Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen, look, when he was with the Los Angeles Chargers, he made a great name for himself. Spent about 4 seasons with Justin Herbert, and during that time, he played in a slot about 60% of the time, and that's where we was like, hey, he's a third down converter. If you need to move the chains on third down, you look to Keenan Allen. That's kind of what we got in Chicago. Because I followed my team, and it wasn't perfect. I'll give him that. It wasn't perfect in Chicago. It wasn't always the best situation in Chicago. Well, it wasn't the best situation in Chicago. It wasn't always great in Chicago. Going through coaches getting fired, going through multiple offensive coordinators, letting a bunch of dumb things slide in Chicago Bears training camp. But I would say this is good for him. This is good for him. I'm happy for him. And I think that this is very, very important because even with the Bears turmoil last season, my man still went up there, even missing some games as well. Keenan Allen still went out there over 70 receptions, over 700 yards, and 7 touchdowns with a bad offensive line, bad play calling, just a bad environment. He still showed that he still got a little juice in the tank. And now Lad McConkey, he should be the number one over there. And then go out there and make a name for himself. It could have been quite a reunion if Mike Williams didn't retire, but hey, it is what it is. I'm wishing him well. I'm hoping that he does great because, hey, the AFC West, I've been saying it all offseason, the AFC West is going to be a gauntlet. But if you want to convert, you need those moments. You need those crucial catches, those touchdowns to start to rack up to try to win games and try to beat divisional rivals and beat other teams that are on your schedule. A guy that's up there in age, but still has something left in the tank, in my belief, Keenan Allen was a good signing for the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that's something that they can definitely utilize. I think that run game is going to be good. We know the offensive line is good. I believe that defense is very well improved over the last few seasons, and Jim Harbaugh is a hell of a coach. Is a hell of a coach. So you can't be mad at it. I'm wishing him well. Good luck to you over there and returning back home. We'll see how much left my man's Keenan Allen got left in the tank. It's up to him, not me. But hey, that is it for me for today, y'all. Just wanted to go out there and give you guys some of the latest on this episode. But hey, if you enjoy what you heard, go ahead and hit that like button. Send your feedback, send your comments, send your concerns, send things that are interesting to you in this NFL season. And you know, we might go ahead and deliver, me and my man Steve-O. But hey, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure y'all hit that bell, man. But hey, that is it for me. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you always love football. And y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, for sure.
This has been a presentation